It's a new week. It's a new month. The Bitcoin conference is over. We're going to talk about some of our biggest takeaways from what we saw from the conference and what we can expect from Bitcoin moving forward. We also have a lot of altcoin news. We're going to showcase what Cardano showcased at the conference in terms of tapping into that Bitcoin DeFi liquidity. Will they grab a majority of the market share? And this comes off the back of a major cryptocurrency seeing not a major cryptocurrency, but a cryptocurrency project that's been around for a long time that just suffered a multi-million-dollar bridge hack. Does this help the likes of Cardano, the likes of ICP, the likes of Near Protocol, the likes of Chainlink? We'll have that discussion. Vitalik Buterin, Robin, to your delight, you'll be happy to hear that in about a year and
10x.
6 months, ETH is going to 10x in speed. Wow. Do we believe it? I don't know. We're also going to talk about Circle, why they're pumping up their IPO numbers, issuing more Class A shares, which will bring the valuation of the company up to north of $8 billion. We're going to take a look at the markets and why one trader who went from betting $100 million on a 40x long to now asking for a donation. We have that and much, much more in today's episode of SINCITY Crypto. Let's go.
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to SINCITY Crypto, home of the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency content. We take old, boring, stale information, repackage it all up in a fun, sexy way. And here we are on the after effects of the Bitcoin conference. You know, there was a lot of hangovers. I hung out with people over the weekend and, well, the conference really took it out of them.
I'm not going to name any names, but there's definitely some people who can't hang.
And there was they couldn't hang with us. We were out all night, up in the morning, drinking. We were having a good time. Vegas did a number on people. They weren't ready for it. I was like, I was born in the fire. I live here.
It reminds me of a Batman movie.
Yeah.
I was born in it, molded by it.
Like, you come here for a weekend. I live here.
You're merely
this is my life.
All right, I can quote that entire movie, that scene, but yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys had a great weekend. Kicking off June with a little bit of downside. There's a lot of reasons. We're going to talk about that. Jerome Powell just had a press conference for no reason. He was talking about the IF and how much he loves them, and I don't know. I thought he was going to resign. Or I thought he was going to talk about I don't know. He didn't talk about any of it. And so those of you that tuned in, well, you wasted like 30 minutes of your time, but that's okay. We'll make up for it on the show here today. Before I forget, we have an exciting announcement to make. You guys know that I've been doing a trading show from around 12:30 to 1:30 Pacific time. Well, we're partnering with our friend over at Sistine Research, which has now rebranded to Sistine Trading. So if you want to catch my TA, but not just my TA, some of your favorite traders, you're going to find them on Sistine Trading. And so this is a collab with our friend Forrest and his channel, which rebranded again from Sistine Research to Sistine Trading. And so to juice this thing up, we're going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give away $50 to one person from today's show who goes in and watches the trading show later today. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern. So just 30 minutes after our show ends. And we have settings on our YouTube to redirect everyone who's still here to the Sistine Trading Show. Today will be manned by Forrest. Tomorrow it will be Forrest and myself. And then moving forward, I won't spoil it. You'll see some of your favorite traders on there. And so this is something that we are excited in doing. So no more David Trading Show on this channel. I will be doing some trading throughout our live show as well. But you can catch me over at Sistine Trading. So make sure you're subbed to the channel, my friends. I'll drop this in the comment section. Make sure you're subbed. And again, all you got to do if you want to win the $100 is go in to the Sistine Trading chat if you're in here, and then just put in Ola, and then we'll pick one winner and we'll send you $50. And so yeah, we're excited to do this thing. Let's go. I'm also excited to announce that Michael Saylor. Looks like he ran out of money because they only bought 700 Bitcoin for $75 million at 106.5K.
Only 75 million, huh?
Yeah. Well, relative to how much they typically buy.
Only 75.
Listen here, man. I don't have 75 million to buy Bitcoin, so I can't really.
Like I said, I don't got no 75 million.
I ain't got to know that.
I got no 75 million.
You know, this would be a great time to show that funny video, but I can't.
Which one?
It's too early. Nah,
Okay.
I can't. Yes,
Okay,
but it fits the whole downtown bar.
That's born and bred in Virginia.
Yeah, Norfolk.
Yeah, like you get really, really Southern Virginia accent when they just completely drop the V, IR. They just say Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia.
Yeah, Virginia.
Anyways, so now MicroStrategy holds 580,955 BTC. It's funny. We see it coming every time, right? Michael Saylor posts that chart with the little dots. Says not enough orange, or I like orange, and well, that's his cue that obviously they already bought the Bitcoin, but you can expect an announcement. And here we go. That's the announcement. But it wasn't just Saylor; it was also the Sailor of Japan, Metaplanet. They bought another 1,088 Bitcoin worth 114 million. Now, I'm sorry, Rob, but it's not like Saylor to be shown up and by the likes of Metaplanet. And so I don't know. You think Saylor's going to see this, be upset, and just YOLO in another $1 billion into Bitcoin? What are your thoughts there, Rob?
It's interesting, a $70 million buy from the OG, corporate buyer there, and then you got Metaplanet one-upping them with 114 million. You got a lot of catching up to do, though. I will say that.
Yeah,
they got a lot of catching up to do.
Everyone but Satoshi. Or the governments that just steal people.
But, I mean, take a look, at 8,888 Bitcoin. So they're almost there at the 10,000 Bitcoin. They almost have $1 billion worth of Bitcoin as well. And how's their stock performing? I know this isn't U.S.-based stock, but, I'm just curious to see, because when they first announced it, they had a giant run-up on their stock price. And, well, I'm sure they're doing pretty well. I was looking at some numbers for MicroStrategy, and
I believe this is the right one, Rob.
Okay, what do you got?
It's up 15%.
Up 15%, but
I think it's the right one. I'm not sure. This says Frankfurt, and if I stand corrected, this is a Japanese company. Let's take a peek. Is there a Nikkei in here somewhere? Might be this one. Actually, I think it's this one. Either way, it's up 16 or 17%. Yeah.
So, I was kind of looking at, what has been the history of MicroStrategy. And so here's just a chart of something I just kind of glanced at the other day. And I just I hit all time on there. And then then it kind of really sunk in. I thought about it. I'm like, look, ever since MicroStrategy has essentially, been publicly trading, and they had their early run up. And so a long time ago, back in 1998, MicroStrategy was about a $10 stock price, shot up to over $100. And so at the time, this was a very, very popular stock. And then it had its collapse there. They had some issues with the SEC, some regulatory issues, and then they just pretty much lost. They were kind of the laughing stock of Wall Street, dropped down to $1, and essentially just kind of hung around this $10 to $15 range for quite some time. And then lo and behold, they came out and announced right before MicroStrategy started buying Bitcoin, they were at $10. Immediately afterwards, back in 2020, they still shot up to $60, which this thing has gone absolutely parabolic. I mean, even throughout this entire bear market, you could have picked up MicroStrategy under $40. And so in a world of traditional finance with a major household name like MicroStrategy, you could have gotten a 10x out of a stock, just a regular everyday stock that people trade. So outperforming the likes of Bitcoin itself, outperforming Tesla, outperforming Google, Apple. It's the best performing company out of the stock market, out of the big boys since 2020. And so something to keep an eye out. I'm sure there's going to be a lot more of this as other companies. We've got 21 Capital as well joining the race for acquiring Bitcoin. The interesting thing though is 21 Capital is backed by Tether, and 21 Capital is going to have a lot of money pouring in from its basically the company structure where they have a ton of money on hand that they can just simply print. Let's just not kid ourselves, and in turn then go buy Bitcoin.
Be big.
Do you own any MicroStrategy stock?
I don't.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, man, what a 10x out of that.
I don't
know why.
I own like 3 stocks.
I own some Coinbase, which is also performed extremely well.
I will be buying some Circle stock.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe not right away because I think the same thing will happen with Coinbase. Big run up, big dip. But I have Tesla. I have Tesla, Coinbase, and I think I still have my Nvidia position. That's pretty much it. I don't mess with stocks. 99% of my money's in crypto. All right, let's talk about this. More on the public trading or public traded company side. Publicly traded Ritar Logtech to raise $1.5 billion to buy Bitcoin for a corporate treasury. This is posted by Pete Rizzo of Kraken. Corporations are buying relentlessly. That's one thing, Rob. That's one thing that I took away, and I was going to ask you was the amount of corporations and enterprises that had a spot at the Bitcoin conference. The amount of speakers, the amount of booths, the amount of just people I saw walking through that entire conference. And we keep sharing news day after day. This company's buying. This company's raising money. This company wants to do this. And it's just the new age of where Bitcoin's heading to. Rob, feel free to speak on this. I think it's pretty straightforward. And then what was your biggest takeaway from the conference this past week?
My biggest takeaway was the sheer size. I would say that, I was in attendance I've been to every single Bitcoin conference, the ones here in the United States. I've been to all of those up in from 2021 on, and so this was the biggest one. It had the most buzz. The one in 2021 was pretty badass. I remember me and you went.
Yeah.
It was quite large, a lot of people. This one, even more people, even larger crowd. And so
next year is gonna be jam-packed.
Dude.
All those people that got their free tickets.
Yeah.
And then they start selling them. And I think next year is gonna be the biggest one.
Well, the free tickets are up, so there's no more free tickets anymore.
I got a couple.
Did you?
I snagged, yeah. Just in case. We have some friends coming.
Which, if you are late to the party, it is cheaper to buy them now than later. You can use our link down below.
I don't know if that works.
It is still the
2025,
2020. I think it's either way. If you go to the website, you can still use the code OLA. That one works. That one's been rolled over. I'm not sure if the link will take you to the exact right spot, but if you go to the Bitcoin conference webpage, go to purchase a ticket. Same coupon code, save 10%, help out the channel. OLA. Thank you.
I do want to share this. Since we're on the okay, so your thing was the size. How many people were there?
Yeah. It was a big party, man. It was cool. Vegas did it right.
Yeah. And the after parties were exciting too. Man, that night at anyways. Okay. Let's talk about this. This was ETF flows last week. We had a really, really good start to the week. So Monday was a federal holiday, which is why the markets were closed. And then Tuesday, 385 million inflows. Amazing. Wednesday, 432 million of inflows. Amazing. And then we gave it all back plus some on Thursday and Friday. Friday being the largest single outflow day we've seen in quite a while. 616 million flowed out of the Bitcoin ETF, with BlackRock leading the way at $430.8 million. Now, could this be investors were spooked? I don't know. Could it be rebalancing of the portfolio? Probably. We've talked about this plenty of times. We're not going to keep beating a dead horse here, but just know that if Bitcoin moves violently, that these institutions and these enterprises and these hedge funds, they're going to reallocate some of those funds. And so they have a certain percentage if Bitcoin value goes over that percentage of the portfolio, they're gonna adjust down, and vice versa is true as well. And then some macro news here. There was some unfortunate news yesterday with Ukraine and Russia. Now, we're not a political show, so we're not going to get into that. But I think that kind of shook the markets a little bit. Jerome Powell was speaking today, which, again, was a nothing burger. But in anticipation, maybe caused a little bit of volatility. We saw Bitcoin go all the way down to around, I believe, $102,000. And now you're seeing gold prices explode. 3,400 an ounce as markets react to rising geopolitical tensions between Russia and Ukraine. We had that. We had the U.S. U.S. Secretary of the Pete Hegseth. What's his title?
Secretary of Defense. Yeah.
He came out and he said, hey, threat from China is real. Well, he didn't say hey, but he's like, the threat from China is real. And so a lot of macro and global uncertainty, which caused gold to go up. We saw the last time this happened, Bitcoin actually gained. And we take a look at what Bitcoin is doing now. Unfortunately, Bitcoin looks like it's about to print a head and shoulders pattern on the high time frame, which would bring us down. I think that measured move, I think I had it at 90. It was like a 93 or 94K. Above 100, above 90 is the main goal. But again, this is a bearish pattern on the daily. Now, if we zoom out to the weekly, though, weekly is actually printing a potential bull flag pattern, which obviously will break to the upside. This is something that Forrest and Lifer spoke about on the show Friday together. You see very similar. We see a big move up. Bitcoin creates a channel, right, a falling channel, and then we get that breakout, which is what you see from these bull flag patterns. Are we seeing something similar without a massive leg, right? The big pull here coming into that flag pattern potentially, but this could also be, again, if it plays out, another bullish pattern on the weekly, bearish on the daily, bullish on the weekly. I do expect this thing to come down to around $100.8 thousand. Might be a good spot to keep an eye on for a potential long, considering other factors such as volume and Wilson fibs. But that's something to keep an eye out for as far as the Bitcoin price action. But again, gold is surging. And then speaking of Russia, Russia's largest banks, Sberbank, I have family out in Burbank, California. Sberbank launches structured bonds tied to Bitcoin. I wonder why, Rob. Times of war, got to raise money. They don't have a money printer. What do they go to? Bitcoin-backed bonds. Better than nothing-backed bonds, I guess. So again, Sberbank is the largest bank in Russia, and they are creating bonds that are backed by BTC.
Interesting that you have you have a war-torn area, and then there you have a banking system that's starting to do bonds and lend money off the back of Bitcoin. And you think that's coincidence, or you think they're just thinking, no, it's not, right? And so I think that's what we're going to see more of. I think as there are uncertainties globally.
Well, no one's going to buy Russian government bonds that's backed by what?
I mean, there's a market for it, but yeah, I think it's more enticing. You're going to feel more secure going with Bitcoin at this point in time, and I think that's really the moral of the story here is that as the world has its geopolitically or whether it's war or just economy, as we progress into more uncertainties when it comes to governments, people are going to just default back to Bitcoin now. I think it's going to be like
it's either that or gold.
Yeah. And which you saw the big run up in gold, which is interesting because gold back 3 months ago was at $2,900, about 15% up from where it was 3 months ago. And we know that 3 months ago, when you looked at Bitcoin's price, we were at $80,000. And so during the last 3 months, gold performing very, very well. You take a look here. So back in May, you had an $80,000 Bitcoin, right? If you look at gold's price on the 3 months, it was at $2,900. So very, very strong performance from gold. Now we're seeing a breakout from gold. I do think that you're going to see a breakout from Bitcoin And if you remember, once we got that big breakout from gold a few months ago, Bitcoin took a couple weeks to catch up. Remember, the narrative was here like, hey, gold has broken over $3,000. We're seeing a big move out of gold. Why isn't Bitcoin moving? That narrative didn't last long. We went from 80,000, putting in a new all-time high at 111. And, well, gold's breaking out again. So I would expect a big move from Bitcoin. If you're a trader, maybe start eyeing some positions to put in a long, because it ain't going to be long before Bitcoin breaks out, follows the trend.
Speaking of trades, you know James Wynn is?
No.
The big trader guy?
Oh, the massive, the guy that got liquidated, $110 million position?
I have a short story to tell.
Go ahead.
It's a very short story. It's story time, okay? So here's a story. There's a guy named James Wynn, big trader. We're talking 100 million to 300 million, okay? This was his post. The more these exchanges try and F me, the more I'm coming for them. Multiple of my exchange accounts have been closed overnight for nothing. Why? Because I'm pro-decentralization. He's pro-hyperliquid. Anyways, what he's saying is happening, which I actually believe him, because we've seen some shenanigans with these exchanges, is that they are hunting him. They're hunting his positions to liquidate him because, well, that's a lot of money, okay? And so that was that. So he put it out there that, hey, I'm being hunted. My liquidation price is out there. He got liquidated on a long, and then he posted this. If you want to fight the market-making cabal and support me, send USDC. Which he said, everyone, I'll send you back, for every dollar you send me, I'll send you back $1 of Euro money again if I win. And so very interesting how one can go from putting up 50 Bitcoin as collateral for a trade to, hey, send me some USDC, guys, so I can stop the exchanges. Very strange. And then we had this as well. James Wynn just deposited 20,000 of donated funds to his Hyperliquid account, which moved his liquidation price from 103,632 to 103,610, Rob.
He is safe.
And a lot of people are saying, you know what's crazy? And I don't think I have this. Let me see if I can pull it up. But they were showing the wick to the downside. Oh, I think it's right here. Look at how close, okay? And now this, I think it was this one. There was a chart. I don't know if it's exactly this one, but that showed that if he didn't move his liquidation price down, he would have gotten stopped out and liquidated again. And so I thought it was very interesting. What's the moral of the story here, my friends? Be careful. Don't trade money that you can't afford to lose and then start going out and asking people for donations to your USDC account.
Well, he had also historically made some killing, right? And so his big position, he had turned 3 million into 110 million. And so, you know, what he got liquidated for, basically he had lost 110,000. It didn't see any take profit from the $3 million run up. So I guess another moral of the story is if you turn 3 million into 110, take some damn money off the table
or just retire.
Don't retire.
No, I don't want to.
No,
retire.
you don't want to.
Yeah,
You don't want to do
retire,
that. No. But at least grab something. Grab $3 million. I don't know. At least take your original buyout.
I'm sorry, but if I just made 110 million, I'm taking like 50.
What I'm saying is that at minimum, scrape off your entry point, right? If you're gonna go from
plus some for taxes.
Yeah, of course. But if you're gonna go from 3 million to 110 million, at least pull out 3 million, man. Minimum.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Ricky Romero said, what time is Jerome Powell speaking? He already spoke, and he said nothing of importance to us.
And then for those of you that are new here, please say hello. We'd love to give you a little shout out. I did see a few new faces. We got Rob, Carson, Davey, Corey, Cyborg Girl, Eyes Green, Dragon, Robert, all of you. Hola! Welcome to SINCITY Crypto. Also, we did have a $10 super chat from Muhammad. He said, David, switch your shirt with Big Rob. He looks like a Smurf or something on them lines. More people throwing shade at me like normal.
They hating on you, bro.
Can't beat them. You can't beat me. You got to hate on me, you know?
No, it's you can't beat them, join them. That's the saying.
No, you can't beat them because, first of all, your boy got hands. And also, he's an amazing trader. If you can't beat him, then just hate on him. You know?
You're so dumb. Your boy got hands, huh? Okay. Interesting. I do want to give a big thank you. Today's show is brought to you by Cams Blue Wire Technology. Our proud to announce our longest tenured sponsor. How long has it been with Cams? Like 3 years? Amazing. Without them, you guys know how much they've done for us. So big shout out to them. If you run a business, you want to maximize your networking, IT, and your cybersecurity, visit bluewiretech.com. There's a link in the description. There's a link in the description of this video. I do have a Q&A up, so make sure if you have any questions you'd like to ask, drop them in the chat. And you know what? In fact, I'm going to go ahead and take one question now, and I'm going to pull up the chart because I'm just going to answer the very first one. And the question was from Seek and Hunt. Said, when is Bitcoin dominance going to top out? Man, I don't know, dude. Bitcoin dominance is not looking good for altcoins. Okay, so let's clean up the chart here a little bit, and we'll go through this and see if we can find any trends here for BTC dominance. So we did get a bounce off of that 6178 level, percentage-wise on dominance. But I mean, outside of a few drawdowns, it's just been up and to the right. Even if you zoom out to the weekly, I mean, really since September of 2022, we did have one decent drawdown where dominance went from 61.6 down to 55, which was about an 11.2% drawdown in Bitcoin dominance. But we want alt season. This is what we need right here. You need this. A 50% reduction in Bitcoin dominance. And this happened between December of 2020 and May of 2021. Well, that is when altcoins peaked. And we
also, when the U.S. issued out all those checks for the COVID relief.
True.
And so it was a surge in retail because retail had a lot of money just randomly dropped in their laps. You think we get anything close to this? I will tell you myself personally, I don't think we get a 50% drop in dominance.
I don't either.
Okay. And so we're on the same page there. Do we see something close to this? Do we get a 35% drop?
I don't know, dude.
You want altcoin season, you need it.
Yeah, I know.
So you're saying you don't think we get an altcoin season?
I'm not saying, no, we do get an altcoin season, but it's not going to be like any altcoin seasons that we've known.
So it's not that typical altcoin season. You're saying that we're going to get an altcoin run, but it's not going to be not going to be anything.
It'll be in little pods. Subset of AI will run and the leader. Subset of gaming will run and the leader. A niche of RWAs will run and the leader. I don't think it's everything runs. I really don't, man.
I agree with it. I don't think it's everything runs, but I do think you get closer to that 50% than maybe you're alluding to. I do think you get to that 35.
You're talking about 50% drawdown, or it's going to be at 50% dominance?
Drawdown. Where are we at the moment? It's like almost
64.28.
I was going to say almost 70%. So, yeah, I mean, so a 50% drawdown
would bring it at 32%. There's no way that's happening, in my opinion. I think dominance may. I mean, I think.
No,
okay,
I didn't say. I think it'll be 35, like a 35% drawdown. Which, you have. You said we're at almost. So if you take 70,000,
35% drawdown will put Bitcoin dominance at 41.5%.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't think we go under 40%.
I don't think we go under 50.
Oh, bro.
I know.
It's coming. It's coming. You know what? Once retail, it happened in 2017. Once retail gets into altcoins, and maybe it's off the back of AI narrative, maybe it's the U.S. putting in.
Where are they going to get their money from?
The money's coming
from where?
It always comes. We figure it out. They figure it out, dude.
That's true.
The interest rates will get cut. From there, you'll get after the interest rates. You'll get a run up on the stock market. The stock market is going to rally. And once the stock market goes parabolic in stock market sense, we saw it kicking off, right? When Trump got into office, we saw that the stock market was very healthy. We've had a pullback. And we've also had a pullback in that run up that we were expecting out of crypto, particularly Bitcoin. But We're gonna be back on track here real soon. So you think altcoin season no more?
No, that's not what I said. I already explained myself.
I know you said little pods.
Yeah.
I got an espresso machine here.
No, I'm thinking about
you got like a Cardano pod.
The fish pods.
Fish pods.
You know, fish swim in pods?
No, fish do not. They swim in pools.
Well, one animal.
Schools.
There's one animal that swims in pods. That animal is what? Listen, man, I ain't no zoologist here, right? I don't know all the animals and the names of the nomenclature of where.
You're so off. There's no pods. There's no.
Listen,
it's not even a zoologist. It's a marine biologist.
Whatever, bro. Listen, all I know is BitTensor's going to a lot of money. That's all I know.
BitTensor, huh?
Okay, all jokes aside.
I had a little pullback. Virtual's Protocol down today.
We cooked another 12x on Virtuals over the weekend.
Virtual's Protocol under that $2 mark. Do you think the top is in on Virtuals?
I'm telling you, I'll just share
$2.50.
Guys, this was my last 3 Genesis plays here. Okay, 8x, 30x, 16x, 7x, and it continues. I think they've solved the biggest problem when it comes to new launches, and that is snipers and rug pulls. You know, like that one project one time where they were protecting against rug pulls and pump and dumps. So, yeah. But, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. And it's not just me. It's really anyone who could scope out a decent project. And Virtuals, the interface makes it so easy for you to understand what's riskier, what's not. It'll tell you how the tokenomics look. It'll give you the profile. If you got docs, devs, even better. Which, by the way, a new project, I just sent it out to the Patreon members. I'm excited for that one. That one I'm going pretty high on the allocation. And so, Virtuals, Genesis launches are making money. And Robin, what are people looking for? There's certain people who, no matter what the market condition is, they don't let their money sit idle. They put it to work. And where else in the crypto ecosystem can you put your money to work with very limited downside and still get returns like that on your screen? Maybe 1 or 2 more. I don't know. But Virtuals is it's obviously going to get drawdowns. You're going to get profit taking. Yes. But as long as these opportunities are there and the way you can even participate in these Genesis launches, you have to be part of the ecosystem. You have to have the virtual token and stake the token. So I think it's great. I think this thing has a lot more room to run. But again, you never know. At the end of the day, all I'm saying is that's where people are making money in the crypto space. And if they're going to keep making money there, I think the price is going to keep going up.
You know, David, all I asked was, do you think the top was in? And bam! Wow, what a defense right there, man. You know, I hit him with a small little lob shot, and he like booted it out of the stadium. He was like,
Was that a compliment, or are you trying to like clown on me?
I'm not trying to clown on you now. No.
It
was actually like I wasn't alluding to the fact that Virtual's top was in.
No, you were trying to clown on me.
I was saying that. I mean, at this point, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a backhanded compliment. Thanks.
Backhanded, right?
Says the guy who has the most long-winded answers to the most simple questions. Rob, is Bitcoin going to go down to 100,000? Well, listen here, guys. Bitcoin's dominance is yeah. Anyways, I'm curious, what amount of money, Robin, would I have to pay you for you to cut your hair like this? It's got that Wolverine feel, right? Interesting lineup on the front there. It's like a half-back mohawk with like a what would you name this haircut there, Rob? Just curious. You're a pretty creative guy. What would you name this haircut?
It reminds me of, you ever play Tekken before? Like one of those. It's like Tekken. That was my game, bro.
I love Tekken.
That was my game. You love Tekken? You know what we should do? I was thinking about it the other day.
We should get a Tekken.
No. I usually to bring in some retro games and just play them on that big ass LED wall in the back. I think that'd be pretty cool. I got one of those like retro Super Nintendos. I was thinking we could just like play like Mario Kart back there or something.
Yeah, we have so much extra time for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of extra time.
We don't have extra time. It was a joke. All right. Let's get into the market. I'm gonna throw it over to Rob, and then we'll come back. We'll talk some Cardano. We'll talk some ETH. And yeah, go ahead.
All right. So just taking a glance over at Bitcoin coming in at 104.4, so 104,400. I am just we seem like we got this previous all-time high here. It was only a little over a week ago. You look at the 7-day here. Doesn't look quite as promising. Kind of scary here when you look at the chart here on the 1 week. But okay. I mean, you look on the 1 month. We broke out into the 100K range. You know, this was back just a month ago, trading over 100K. You know, I was talking to Lifer when he was here, and his thing was, you know, his big takeaway for Bitcoin's price. I was sitting there having lunch with him at Firefly, by the way.
Oh, wow.
I
definitely got the invite. Thanks, man.
You said you were, it was your wife's like anniversary.
Oh, that was Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ditch her.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah, being a good friend. And I was eating all the delicious Firefly food by myself or with anyways, where I was getting at. And I said, Lifer, what do you think is going to happen with the price of Bitcoin this year? I'm like, and I'll try to get the one-on-one because, you know, sometimes you say something on the stream. You say like, hey, you know what? Very bullish here. Maybe you got some doubts. Maybe you're second guessing yourself.
Lifer's not one of those people.
He definitely isn't. But I just had to double check. And I was like, what do you think? Where are you, what's going on this year?
I had to confirm.
And so Lifer tells me, he's like, if we just hold above 100K and we do not go underneath, and the market we just confirm we aren't going under 100K. Like, that's it. Period. If we can.
He said that?
If we stay above 100K, he was basically saying that it confirms the market. It confirms that, like, hey, we're gonna go make new all-time highs. We're not playing around over here no more.
Well, what's the time frame and what, like, it's like?
I didn't get the time frame. Okay. But basically, he said at this moment we're testing the 100K range, and if we stay above it, we don't drop underneath it. It's just going to give this psychological presence that, like, hey, Bitcoin, we're not going under 100,000. I think he said he doesn't think it and maybe I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure because I did have a couple sangrias while I was there. But he did say,
you would. You have the cute little umbrellas with the cherries.
But he did say that he didn't think it was going to go under 80,000 anymore.
Yeah, I think that's.
And he had said something about along the lines like, hey, put it in a long position. He said if you really wanted to make money, just put it in a long position, hide your liquidation under 80K at like 70,000, and you could pretty much ride that out and just, you know, essentially become rich, right? As long as it doesn't dip under 80,000, but. You know, then we got into the conversation progressed, and I was like, hey, remember COVID? We dropped all the way down to 3,000, and nobody thought we were going to go from 18,000 to 3,000. And so just one example where when you don't think it'll ever dip under a number. Anyways, we're holding over 100K, moral of the story, and new all-time highs around the corner. If we don't dip under 100K within the next week, I don't see a scenario in logical sense outside of black swan events that we don't see that $120,000, $130,000 Bitcoin here shortly as well. So getting into the altcoins though, so not a lot of green or here, or at least not any big winners. Monero correction. Now they were down 11% on the week, but up 7% on the day of the 24 hours. Also, you got Sky here. Not familiar with that one. Are you familiar with Sky? You ever seen this before?
No.
Okay. Anyways, we got some new players here in the scene. Sky, Sonic, Hyperliquid up 3%. But most of this is projects that are rebounding on the 1 week. Taking a look though, you do got some red. As I mentioned, Virtuous Protocol is under $2, down 6% on the 24 hours, down 10% on the week. Don't fool yourself though. When you look at Virtuous Protocol, as far as their performance, They've had a massive run up. We were telling you about virtuals back in November when it was sub 50 cents. We were also telling you, hey, probably a good time to pay attention to virtuals yet again when we saw the market bottom here at yet again 50 cents. And lo and behold, we're right around $2. So this is and to answer to give a little more context to your answer earlier, when I was asking if the top is in, I don't think it is. I think that this is a little pullback. How long of a pullback are we seeing? So on the 7-day here, you can see we were at $2.50. You look at the 1 month. This is not a correction, right? This is just the market just coming back to that $2 support range. And so what we're not seeing here is a giant run up and a correction, and where you would expect long-term consolidation. You could say that on the 1 year here and go back to April and May and say like, hey, this had a nice strong run, but I don't think that's the case. And so to answer my own question earlier, this is not the top. I do think that we get a little closer to that $3-4 range, and then from there maybe it's a different narrative, but something to keep an eye on. I think it stays around $2 for, I would say, a week, but I think next week it'll probably take off again.
It does have big swings though. It'll dip down to like $1.85, and then it'll be back over $2 in like 6 hours. But the reason for that is because people are joining the launches, they're committing their points, they're farming the points, and they're actually using it. It's not just, people are buying it because it sounds cool or it's only 40 cents a coin. No, people are buying it because they have to, because they want to participate in the ecosystem, which is what you want to see for longevity, right? And you want to have comfort in holding an altcoin. You want to look at that. Is the price going up because people are using it, or is price going up simply from speculation? Both is great. If I had to pick one or the other, 100% I'm going with price is actually doing something, or price is moving because people are actually using it. All right, looks like you're done with the alts. I'm not done with the alts. I am just getting started. Okay, Bitcoin, Cardano, big event, right? Talking about Charles Hoskinson showing a demo of what Bitcoin DeFi looks like on Cardano. Well, here is one demo from Indigo.
Today, Indigo is proud to present an exciting development coming soon to the Cardano ecosystem. Create a Bitcoin-backed CDP on Indigo, powered by Lace. Utilize your Bitcoin MD5 without the need to ever sell it. Maintain your ownership, safety, and 24/7 access at all times. Putting potentially trillions in liquidity to work for Bitcoin and Cardano users alike. Build your Indigo CBP effortlessly with Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin DeFi. It's on Cardano, and it's coming to Indigo.
So that was intriguing. And then we have this. This is Charles.
It's going to another network with perhaps a different security model, but you are.
Why did it start playing?
In the driver's seat of the U.S. government. The U.S. government, because of the reserve, is going to hold 212,000 Bitcoin. I'd like to make those programmable. BlackRock holds a huge amount. I'd like to make those programmable. The same for all the other sovereign governments and Fortune 500 companies that grab that.
Okay. So what do we always talk about, Rob? We talk about, are you going to convince the maxis to give up their Bitcoin, right? But fair to say BlackRock holders, right? People that are buying the BlackRock ETF, they're not maxis, right? So if there's a way, a safe way, a way that's makes sense, a way that's resourceful, and a way that's easy and simple, you can streamline it. BlackRock, you bet that they're going to, if there's an opportunity to put that dormant Bitcoin to work, they're going to do it. And I like what Charles said.
I think, here's and I don't know exactly how it would be done, but just a quick, I guess perhaps theory from my side is if the U.S. is going to hold Bitcoin, they're probably going to offer something to go with the Bitcoin, right? And the first thing that comes to mind would be a bond, right? And to say, you're your dollars at one point when it was backed by gold were redeemable, 1-for-1 for gold at one point. No longer the case, but perhaps we'll see something similar to that. Maybe we'll have a bond that can be issued off the back of the Bitcoin that, or secured by the Bitcoin that the U.S. holds. Wouldn't it make a lot of sense to just program the bond or have the bond on chain and have the underlying asset accounted for? To say, hey, look, we have 200,000 Bitcoin on hand as a nation. And if you're going to buy, say, 50,000 Bitcoin in the form of a bond, here is the actual Bitcoin that it's associated with. And that Bitcoin itself is locked up in the part of the bond. Like, we can't move that Bitcoin or whatever it is. And I think that's a real world scenario where
It makes sense.
it makes sense. And having that programmability, and even then, you're not even messing with the Bitcoin base layer. You're not moving it to some third-party platform. You're just simply attaching the Bitcoin to an external network and just saying like, hey, here it is. This is the one. As far as security, I don't think you're really compromising much if you don't move it off of the layer one. But I mean, there's always security concerns at some level, but I don't know. I think it's going to be something that we can't ignore, and I think it's the use case and utility is going to be there, whether you like it or not, and whether you choose to use it. I think is going to be the big question.
I agree that security concerns are out there, and here's one of them, right? Which I think plays into what Cardano's looking to do. Threat actors take over Nervos Network, so CKB, clean up $3 million in assets, and it was a bridge hack. Nervos' networks, their Force bridge has been reportedly hacked, resulting in $3 million in theft. The Nervos breach event highlights the growing security risks in cross-chain bridge protocols across the blockchain space, which is something I've been talking about for months now, is you want people to go cross-chain and you want to tap into all that liquidity. Maybe it's not Bitcoin, maybe it's ETH and really any other layer one chain. I think bridges are out and L1 to L1 is in. And Cardano, that is what they are doing. ICP, that is what they are doing. Near Protocol, that is what they are doing. Chainlink, that is what they are doing. Who is going to grab a majority of the market share? Keep your eye out for that project, because that one is going to gain a lot, especially, and I love what Charles said, that clip we showed, the last one, especially if they go after these large holders like a BlackRock that they hold on behalf of their clients. They can go in there and say, show me a way I can do it fast, cheap, secure, and I can earn X percent, or however they do it. You keep some, pass them on to your clients and holders. I think it's a win-win for everyone. Again, as long as it is done natively from Cardano to natively on Bitcoin. And so, yeah, those are my thoughts. Let's talk a little bit about ETH. Vitalik, well, says ETH L1 should scale 10x over the next year and a bit. I don't feel comfortable with a bit, because it could be a year and 5 years is a bit, or it could be a year and 5 months. I don't know. But Rob, are you ready to jump back on the ETH train, my friend? Yes.
Buy me a ticket.
Where are we going?
On the ETH train.
Oh.
Only problem is it only fits so many people on that train. It's not very, doesn't have a lot of throughput. But
That's good.
Wow. Okay, first of all, question.
Answer.
Is it even scalable at 10x?
Yeah.
In a relative short term. I'm not talking about 2031. I'm talking about, like, is this even doable in your?
Are you talking about, like,
we're not cryptography experts, but I just look at the track record and I look at, well, they haven't ever really become more scalable, right?
Hey,
they rolled out proof of stake. Congratulations. You know what? You did it. You didn't break anything. That's good. But to scale at 10x in a year for a project that has just historically moved painfully slow on all of their upgrades, all of their hard forks, all of their things that they want to do. Proof of stake was supposed to go live shortly after Ethereum's came to be, right? It was supposed to be like a 2017, 2016, 2015 kind of thing, staking. We didn't see it till 2024.
Listen, but Vitalik just changed his profile picture to a milady. Okay, things are different now. He's not doing those weird dances anymore. Remember those weird?
Yeah, I remember
the good days.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. Like Rob said, I'm not a blockchain developer. I don't know if it's possible, but from what we've seen, I mean, Ethereum is the largest ecosystem in the world. There's a lot of money, a lot of liquidity. So, like, it makes sense. You got to be careful. You can't just roll things out. If they break, they break. There's a lot of money, people's money at stake here. But to 10x without, I mean, I don't know. I'd have to dig more into
I
it.
would think you would need a hard fork to 10x, right?
Like I said, I'm not a blockchain coding expert, so I'm not going to speak on that from a technical standpoint. But I mean, how do you just 10x? Or I mean, yeah, I mean, I would assume it has to be a hard fork. We can get one of the ETH devs in here, or maybe Vitalik himself.
I think that it would be front and center if it was a hard fork. I think it would be clearly defined as a hard fork with concerns. So I think from where I'm getting from it, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I haven't read too far into it, but it seems like they're just going to just turn up the dial a little bit, I guess. You know, is that a...
And isn't that's something I've said? I said Solana, Sui, some of the other hot L1s that are coming out. They're putting pressure on ETH, right? No longer can ETH sit on the crown or sit on the Iron Throne with a crown on its head and say, we're number one. We are so far ahead of everyone else, they can spend the next 10 years building and we'd still be number one. Those days are over. I really think those days are over. And you can feel the shift from Vitalik to everyone at the Ethereum Foundation to all the developers. There is a shift happening and someone lit a fire under their ass. And they have no choice now. Because if you look at market cap value, ETH is at 300 billion, or excuse me, 300 billion. And you got XRP at 128. Now, it's not nearly, they're a little different, but XRP has XRP Ledger.
I mean, look at this. This is XRP versus Ethereum on the 1 year. I mean, it's a night and day. I mean, blue line here, XRP. I mean, you look at the all-time chart. I mean, ETH has outperformed historically. ETH has outperformed XRP historically, but that only goes back so far. You look back at let's see here. When did this happen? So you had this big flippening here, man. But you look at ETH and it's losing against damn near everything. There are a lot of alts it's outperforming. And when I say a lot, it's the list isn't that long. But there's just so many projects out here that are just outdoing it, man. They're losing ground. They're still number 2. I mean, you look at the market cap list, they're still there. I mean, but it was XRP was damn near outside the top 10 at one point, and Ethereum was number 2. And look who's creeping up. I mean, you got only thing in between ETH is Tether here. We know that's just a market cap, and so you got Bitcoin, ETH, and then XRP. XRP is at $127 billion market cap. And it's almost just 2x away from ETH. And XRP doesn't even have the people using it that ETH does. Imagine when the banks and just regular retail is using XRP. We got a lot of use case and utility coming in at XRP and Ripple. We were talking about it all week. We were going through, we got the RWAs. They're making up a lot of ground on XLM. For the RWA plays. We got a lot of banks using XRP now, or a lot of headlines there. There's the stablecoin narrative. I know we talk about Solana a lot in comparison to ETH. Watch out. XRP might be the one that kick ETH in the teeth and take its number 2 spot. I mean, what do you think is more likely?
I mean, it was pretty damn close at one point.
Yeah.
I do want to remind you all, again, in partnership with Forrest over at Sistine, as you can see here, the thumbnail. This is today's show that Forrest is going to be doing some TA on. You see, it's a collab between us and Forrest over at 16. And so all of my trading will be on this channel. Forrest is going to be doing the show today. I will be doing it tomorrow with Forrest. It'll be fun. And to kick this thing off, again, we're going to do a $50 giveaway. One person from this community that's watching the show here, go into this stream, which, by the way, if you just hang tight, you'll be automatically redirected to this stream in about a couple minutes when we end. And just drop an "Ola" in the chat, and we'll pick one winner. We'll give you $50. You guys know Forrest, his insight and his TA is great. And so hop over, make sure you're sub to the channel.
And just type in "Ola," win some money.
Yeah.
All you got to do.
Yeah. We like giving away money. It's fun. It's great. That'll do it for the show today. One more thank you to Cams for sponsoring today's show. Also, if you're not subbed to the channel, make sure to do so. Click the like button on your way out. And that's all I got. Rocco! Thank you all so much for tuning in. We appreciate every single one of you. Come back here tomorrow. Same place, same time. Until then, my friends, have a great rest of your day.
SINCITY, crypto, everybody know we here for entertainment and info, gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in, for big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in then you win, we divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David, I split the game but they gave it. Name the coin that's your favorite, I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners, special shout out to the whale members. Buy the dip, sell winners, ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors, they gonna teach us mean coins, they polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin, laggers we trade them in, baddies they came to sin, and sinners gon' play to win, screaming Ola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya, to the moon then to the solar, won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya, it's over, when the finger tornado close ya.